so what we're looking at in today's class is the difference between the surface and the deep. And obviously we'll look at it through the body because that's what we're doing, moving. But we'll be just as interested in what that means for the mind's concentration and how that is as more of a feeling sense. So what you do need in class is a block or a bolster or even a cushion or a rolled up towel just for the end of class when we do some of our stretching. But for now, let's go ahead, guys, make our way onto our back. And bring your legs into Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees nice and wide. And you can place, if you'd like, either one hand kind of on the belly, one on the heart, or just let the hands relax beside you. You might like to close your eyes here. And we're just going to start straight away with this sense of what are the deep breathing muscles. So we have the more surface layer, the muscles amongst the ribs that have to stretch. We even, the rectus abdominis, the six pack, has a little bit of work to do in our breathing. But see if we can drop all the way in nice and deep to underneath the lungs, separating the lungs from the actual abdominal cavity. The diaphragm muscle, big beautiful disc-like muscle that moves up and down in the body like a parachute as we breathe. As we breathe in, the lungs fill, it moves down. As we breathe out, the lungs empty, it moves up. Now because it's 3D, let's deepen our awareness of it even more. And can you breathe into the back diaphragm where it attaches to the back ribs? So it attaches on the inner rim of the back ribs there. And just take a couple of breaths, really feeling that place. You can imagine, if you wish, if its actual anatomical spot isn't clear to you, you can imagine, if you wish, little balloons being blown up underneath your shoulder blades, about heart rate monitor line. As you're ready, guys, please draw your right knee into your chest, give it a really big squeeze, and lengthen the other leg away. Good. See if you can feel the inner thigh on the left leg being drawn down to the mat. So there's a little bit of a squaring off of the thigh bone. And you continue to breathe into the back lungs. Then stay here. Go ahead and lengthen this leg up into a hamstring stretch. You can hold the shin or the back of the thigh, I don't mind. And just go and point and flex the foot, like 10 times, pretty rapidly. Just trying to warm up the back of the leg a little bit. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the leg there in a flex. Lift the head and shoulders up nice and high into a curl. Your goal is to curl the upper back, not so much crunch from the neck, but actually create the C shape. Now lift the left leg up in the air enough, and as you look at it, lift it enough that you see the quad muscle, the top of the thigh tone. If it's a little bit low, the quad will be kind of switched off. So lift it up so it's toned, you see the muscle working there. Take a breath in, then change legs on an exhale. And we're going to do that 20 times. Inhale and exhale. And as you keep going, can you really have a look at the top of the thigh? Again, check that that quad stays toned. And feel every time that you breathe in that you inflate into the back diaphragm. Underneath the shoulders, there's a little bit of popping, of almost like you're putting air there. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, good. Keep watching the quad. Make sure that the leg stays in work. 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. Release both hands. Let them land beside the thigh. And then crunch the head and shoulders a little higher. For 20, 19, 18. You're still looking for that long leg to keep its quad toning. And you're really trying to shorten the distance between ribs and hips. For 10, push through the little finger a little bit more. 7, 6, 5, good. Keep breathing. 2, and 1. Rest. Draw the other knee into the chest for your hip flexor stretch. And return to breathing into the back lower ribs. One more breath, yeah. Take the leg up to the sky, hold it there, then point and flex the foot. Point and flex. Good, 10 times. Just warming up through the ankle, through the back of the legs, even right down into the sit bones, you might feel it. Beautiful, then hold it there, lift the head and shoulders nice and high. Again, lift the other leg up off the mat so you see the quad tone. Then change legs for 20, 19, 18. Keep feeling the breath. You inhale through the nose. In this one, you can exhale out of the mouth. That'll increase that diaphragm activation as we've got load on the core here. For 10, 9, 8, 7. Good. You can go a little faster if you want. 3, 2, 1. Make sure you've got the opposite leg lifted. Lift the head and shoulders a little higher. Hands to release at mid-thigh. Again, 20 little crunches. 20, 19, 18. Have a look at the long leg. Check the quad is toned. 14, 13, 12. Lift less from the front shoulders and more from the underneath of the shoulder blades. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both knees into the chest, please. Just rock your head side to side. Notice if you built any tension there. And keep breathing into those back lower lungs. Whenever you're ready, please draw the knees into the chest. Rock and roll yourself up and down until you cross the ankles and find downward facing dog, please. Beautiful, nice and long. You can let the heels anchor a little bit. Now I'd like you to feel ever so slightly today that there's a little bit of activation of the six pack, the ribs to the hips. And what that does is it avoids, if we're quite flexible, us dipping into the lower back. By engaging, it helps us to really lengthen out. And then you feel you can push back through the hips, down through the heels a little bit more. Stay here, breathe in. Stay here, breathe out. Lift your right leg up behind you, guys. Squeeze the heel over to the left butt cheek and go for a real inner thigh opener today. Lift the knee as high as you can. Keep the chest pointed down towards the mat. Stay here, then start to draw big circles with the knee in the air, just kind of rolling in that hip socket. Then reverse the direction, circle the other way, rolling in that hip socket. Please place the foot down, settle here. And go ahead and lift the other leg. Same thing, draw the heel over to the butt, open up, and start drawing big circles. And notice not just how does it feel in the outer range, but how does this feel nice and deep, right down into the hip joint. 5 more. And change directions if you haven't already. Then place the foot, please, and walk to the top of the mat. Feet just outside the shoulders. Lengthen for a moment, find space, find your halfway lift. Good, then bow down and really let it go. If it feels okay, interlace the hands behind the back in your bow. Five breaths here. Please bring the hands back towards your butt. Let them relax down to the ground. Soft knees. Roll to standing slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Step the feet together, hands in Anjali Mudra, and close our eyes. Three Oms to open our practice today. Each one feeling as though they dive you a little deeper over and over again until you feel like you really drop into the center. Maybe the center of the heart, maybe the center of the belly, but you drop deeper into your body. Whenever you're ready, inhale. From deep within. Open your eyes, look up, take a big breath here. Bow forward on your exhale. Move through your halfway lift, your nice long flat back. Then step back to your high plank, please. Place the knees and calmly make your way all the way down onto your tummy. Cactus your elbows out to the side of your body so they're in an L shape. Keep the feet down and inhale, lift the head and shoulders. As you exhale, reach forward, turn the palms towards each other. And then pull the elbows back, exhale. Reach forward, inhale, back of the neck long. Elbows back, exhale. You've got 4 more. If it's too much on your back, just do it with the fingertips down. But keep focusing as you breathe in. Can you puff up this back rib area, like under the shoulder blades? Last 2, almost like you inflate little balloons there. Or if you're familiar with the diaphragm, breathe into the back of the diaphragm, the back of the lungs. Last breath. Exhale, bring the hands all the way back by the side ribs, elbows are back. Rise up, just do a small cobra as you inhale here. Press back to child's pose, be quite stretched out long, really sit the heels, stretch out through the hands. Keep the hands and feet where they are, float up to kneeling as you inhale. Then tuck the toes and peel back to downward facing dog. Exhale. Breath in to the back of the lungs. Look past the fingertips as you breathe out. Then step or jump lightly to the top of the mat. Keep your hips high. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold as you exhale. Stretch up to standing, one beautiful big breath. Fold back down, exhale. Halfway lift, inflate those back lungs. High plank to chaturanga, step or maybe jump. Cobra or up dog, again inflate back lungs. Downward facing dog, exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Top of the mat, try your jump. Halfway. Fold. Stretch out, really feel the breath. And keep breathing into those back lungs. Halfway lift. Low plank, you can try your jump. Inhale. Exhale. Now hold it here. Lift your right leg, please. Take a nice big breath in. Come forward, high plank, touch the knee to the elbow, then stay here. And notice whether you're quite dominant in the shoulders and the neck. Can you actually squeeze the side waist, the lower ribs, and try and balance the muscles in those two areas? Take a breath in. Please lunge that foot forward, breathe out. Your back knee comes down. Reach hands up, take an inhale. As you exhale, let the hands circle all the way back and push back to pyramid. Drop forward, drop the back knee, inhale, circle. Hands to the mat, pyramid, exhale. Now you've got this 4 more times. Make it pretty dynamic. For 3, just follow the breath. Two more. On your last one, we still circle on the inhale. Then place your hands high plank to chaturanga on the exhale. Through your back bend. And downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, please. Knee to tricep, exhale. Stay here, just like before. Notice if it's all up in the shoulders, the neck. Balance by squeezing into the waist, the lower body. Take a breath. Then lunge the foot on the exhale. Back knee down. Circle on your breath in. Place the hands in pyramid as you exhale. 5 more. And your goal here is just to build a lot of mobility in the outer body so that it's not so distracting to us. You know, we have to focus on it less. And instead of intellectualizing what's open, what's not open, what's strong, what's not strong, we can start to move away from all of that and just focus on how do I feel? Internally, how do I feel? And your last one, take a big breath, circle. Again, hands to the mat. High plank to chaturanga, knees or toes is fine. Back bend, draw the chest up. Downward facing dog. Breathe in here. Breathe on out. Look forward, try your jump, top of the mat. Halfway lift, then bow. Stretch up, be dynamic. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift. Step or jump, high plank to chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale. Right leg. Knee to tricep, then lunge. Back knee down, reach up, breath in. Hands to mat, high plank or downward facing dog, you choose. Breath in. Breath out. Left leg. Knee to tricep, then lunge. Back knee down, circle. High plank to chaturanga or down dog, you choose. Breath in. Breath out. One more round. Look forward, top of the mat, step or jump. Lengthen out, really tune into breath, even deeper. Fold. Rise up. And notice less the surface respiration, bow, less the throat. Halfway and much more, step or jump, chaturanga, deep down into the under lungs. So you feel that you're breathing down dog. Right leg at that space between, lightly lunge please, the lungs and the abdominal organs. Knee down, circle. Chaturanga, low plank. Cobra, up dog. Down dog, breathe from the diaphragm. Left leg. Lightly step. Knee down, circle. Inhale. Chaturanga or downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Right leg lifts again. Lightly step. This time circle just the right hand and hold it there in a twist. Good, now it's very common, and I've done it here. You pop for us to pop the hip up and for our hips to actually twist. So can you feel your hip bones square off to the mat? And the twist to occur from that underlung, that's going to contribute to the toning of this diaphragm. You can breathe into the back underlungs. For 3. And if you shrug and move from your shoulders a lot, this is your balance. Not drawing the shoulders down the back, but actually activating this side ribs, lower lungs. Last inhale. Release the hand till the fingertips just lightly touch the mat, guys. Then reach up to crescent lunge and find a really steady eye gaze. Good, now we spoke earlier in our down dog about this little six-pack connection. See, it doesn't have to be perfectly flat, but if you can feel that, like the hip bones drawing up to the belly button, it avoids us going into a huge back bend. It keeps us kind of contained. Good, and then sink right down into that front leg. Take one more breath in here. Stay as you breathe out. On your inhale, grow through the fingertips. On your exhale, warrior 2. Back foot turns to the short side of your mat. Front foot to the long side. And again, you sink down nice and low. Take a moment just to feel this slight six-pack engagement, but even more that you're breathing into this back under ribs. That you feel like there's 2 balloons there that you inflate. And it keeps just drawing you out of intellect, higher shoulders, all this really surface stuff, right down deep into your center. What do you feel here? On your breath in, can you flick the palm, reverse your warrior, inhale, and stay. Notice if you've dominated the weight in the back hand, make it very light. Check that you're still nice and deep in the front thigh, and you've still got that little bit of ribs to belly button engagement. Then straighten the front leg, guys, and tip out to Trikonasana. Now it's easy in Trikonasana to end up dumped in the hands or the hips. It's actually a very strong, active pose. Hug the feet, hug the inner thighs. Stay here, keep breathing into those back ribs. Last breath. Return to warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Inhale, please. Then hands to the mat. Three-legged dog. Kick that leg back and away. Good. Stay here. Check again. You've got that little bit of six-pack engagement. Lots of breath in the back lungs as you inhale. Exhale. Knee taps left tricep. 4 more. Kick back. Knee taps left tricep. 3 more. If it's neck dominant, bring it down into the ribs, the side waist. 2 more. Tap. Last one. And when you tap that knee across, leave it there. Shoot the foot off the left side of the mat. Turn your back foot into a side plank and lift on up. 2 more breaths. Again, emphasize this under lungs, breathing into the back ribs. Last breath. Downward facing dog, please. Steady the breath here. And look for how you feel. Lift the left leg, please. Lightly step it between the hands. Circle that hand around and again, stop here in the twist. And really noticing this round, where are you? Where's your focus? Is it on the surface? Is there something you can find that's a little deeper, maybe a joint, a deeper muscle, an organ? Take a breath. Fingertips touch down. Reach up through crescent lunge. Eye gaze steady. And the same thing. Is there something a little deeper here to focus on? Even if the whole time it's those back lungs, that's amazing. That's why I mentioned it. It's an anchor for you if you need it. Last breath. Warrior two, please. Same thing. Eye gaze steady. Where's your focus? If it's something super mind-based, super surface-based, how do you find something deeper to anchor you? And always there's that idea of the back lungs that we discussed. Flip the palm, reverse your warrior, inhale. Lighten up that back leg. Keep breathing. Last big inhale, please. Trikonasana, up and over, straighten the leg, let the hand land lightly, chest opens. And it can be common if you're quite a back bender for the six pack to lose tone and for you to end up in a back bend. So you get again this little bit of engagement in the front body, lots of breath in those back lungs, and it can help to really extend your tailbone towards the back heel. Last breath here. Return to warrior two, reverse your warrior, inhale please. Hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Keep that left leg up behind you, take an inhale. Knee to right tricep on your exhale. 4 of these. Remember balance, shoulders with lower waist side ribs. Really pull it back into the center, away from the head and neck. 2 more. You can just really actively squeeze the waist if you want, like you're doing up a tight belt. Last one. Knee touches elbow, you stay, then shoot that foot across your body and open up. Beautiful. Stay here for 3. Remember back lunge, side waist for 2. Last breath. Downward facing dog, please. Gently place the knees. Place your hands under your shoulders and move through some cat-cow. And again, just this balancing out. Where's the focus of my attention? Can I take it somewhere a little deeper, an organ like the heart or the lungs, an inner joint? Maybe just the feeling of some more subtle muscles. Then drop back to child's pose, stretch the hands away. And what it does is change your focus from outer to inner. Also changes the way we experience this idea of motivation. So that if that's a word that you think of a lot or you're challenged by, the idea of how to be motivated, am I motivated? We start by redefining it. That it's less about this intellectual, it's less about the stuff on the surface. And our desire to practice, to come to this practice, starts to be about tuning in. Finding the center, even if that's just your organs. Even if that's just how are my joints. And you know you've got it when you land on the mat, and that's all that matters. That's my inner world. All right, guys, come up to downward facing dog. We're going to work an arm balance here. And so if that idea of arm balances is freaky, if it gets you in your head, and just remember it's about experiencing what is the inner world I want to experience here. And really it's this opportunity to open up the joints. And it's opportunity to start to feel the physics of where does my body actually balance? What's its tipping point? So we've got heaps of drills on the way there. Lift the right leg for me. And And just start by having a go at stepping it outside the right hand and as far forward as possible. Good. Then step back to downward facing dog. Do the same thing, left leg lifts high. Step it outside the left hand and as far forward as possible. That's it. Then back to downward facing dog. Okay, so you're going to keep doing that. Feel if the foot can slide as little as possible. So you really feel that you pick it up purposely and that you lunge it forward purposefully. So that it moves from, rather than the outer body swinging, it moves from the inner body control. That's what we're looking to create. Once you've got it, you're going to keep doing that. Still step the foot outside the hand and as far forward as possible, but start to swing it around in front of the hand and step back. Up and over, but now beyond the hand, around the hand, to in front of the hand. So you feel like you're trying to step it back onto the mat. And there's a lot of hip hiking up that you need to do that. Do 2 more like that. This time land on the tippy toe when you do it. Good. And go back. Same thing, up and over, land on the tippy toe. And go back. Now there's a lot that you're learning doing that, so you might want to keep doing that 5 or 6 times. Otherwise, have a go at doing that again. Leave the foot there and walk the elbows back so they're right underneath the thigh. Line the hands up with each other. Look beyond the top corner of your mat. Stretch the leg away and have a go at stretching the back leg. So you do it both legs, but look, the arm balance is irrelevant. It's much more this interest in, can I teach myself this hiking up from the center, up and over of the hips? And what goes on in my intellect? How much does your mind start getting obsessed with, well, I've got to work out the outer form. How do I work out the outer form? Instead of being driven by that idea of feeling the inside. If you haven't already, do both sides 2 times. Again, forget intellectualizing, forget trying to work it out. Just feel, how do I move from inside? And when you're done, can you please walk your feet to the top of the mat? Take them wide outside your hips, bend the knees a lot, and slide the hands underneath the feet. Let the head shake a little, yes and no, yes and no. And maybe even use the toes to give you a little bit of a wrist massage. And then notice what happened for you there. You know, that's the beauty of the arm balances. It's really one of the biggest parts of why I do them, is to notice. Is there something going on? Is there a possibility for me to move closer to center even when I'm challenged? Please soften the knees. Release the hands and roll slowly to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Bring your right leg up into Vrikshasana, tree pose. Good, remember these back lungs. Breathe into them like you've got your own little airbags. And check that the skull is aligned over the torso. You can stay here if there's range. Reach down for either the big toe or the foot. Take the other hand out to the side and zip the knee up. So at first what you're looking, before we add the hamstring, is that the hips are nice and level, the head is still stacked, and you're still breathing into the back lungs. If you're able to keep the integrity of those 3 points, then you can straighten the leg. Keep breathing into the back lungs for 3. One more breath. Please gently release. Place the foot with control. Stand steady. Other side. Take the leg into Vrikshasana, tree. Again, elevating, lifting, breathing air into the back lungs, the back ribs. Skull's level. The hips are nice and level and upright. And then if there's range, you go big toe or foot and start just by hiking it up. And that can be a nice mid-range if you want to move from tree but you're not ready to fully kick. But it's also the perfect checking point for am I breathing into back lungs and do my hips stay level. Then you can extend and breathe. And more importantly, ask, where am I breathing? Can those back lungs pull me out of my shoulders, out of my neck, back into my center? Last breath. Bend the leg with control. Place it down, hands in Anjali Mudra place. Reach up, take that beautiful breath. Fold forward as you exhale. Rise up halfway. Step or jump, chaturanga, low plank. Through your back bend. And your downward facing dog. Then look forward beyond your fingertips, guys. And you're going to jump through all the way to your butt. Bend the legs and make your way into bridge pose. I always look for here, often we get taught, and we've taught this for a long time as teachers, to place the heels on the back of the fingers, which is fine for me. I've got short legs, but if you've got longer limbs, it's quite possible that's going to have you too tucked in. You can see my knees are on a bit of an angle now. So have a look. What we want is just a straight chin. Now the heels underneath the knee bone. Is that line straight up and down? Good. Once you've got that, turn the palms up. Press your lower back into the mat and bring the pelvis up on a nice high diagonal first. Check you've got that before you go too high. Hug the side hips in. Let the inner thighs drop down a little bit, so you've almost got this wrapping up and out of the outer thighs. Then once you've got all of that, really dig into the heels. Keep sending the tailbone higher as you come up into a higher bridge. Good, you might like to interlace the hands behind you. Our key here is for this not to over-dominate in the chest, that we end up actually losing the butt. That's pretty compressive, and you lose a lot of beautiful posture tone. So come up, nice high diagonal. One more breath. Release the shoulder blades first. Let the sternum relax and Roll down through the body, one vertebrae at a time. Let the lower back settle. Let the feet wriggle out wide and the knees just drop in. Same move, just one more time. So feel the shoulders draw back, draw up halfway, get that really beautiful high angle of the hips. Then you can go either up into a nice high bridge, or if the range is there, hands behind you, push into the heels, and rise up to wheel. Now in wheel, it's the same action that we want to build in the bridge. Can we not just have it all in the chest? Can we get those inner thighs softening in, outer hips hugging and squeezing, outer thighs really wrapping. And there's a lot of integrity in the back pelvis. Wherever you are, take one more breath. And very gently you relax onto the back of the head. Place the back of the shoulders. Roll down through the spine. And this time take that butterfly, feet together, knees wide. Turn your palms up. Alright guys, please find as you're ready that support you had, so whether it was a bolster or a block. And start with just a supported bridge. There's many levels you can go on. You can go flat and wide. You can go up a level, a little narrower, but still wide. Or you may want to turn it up one more level again. If you've got a kind of firm block like I do, nice and high underneath the hips. And as you hold it here, you can just systematically work your way around your body and notice what surface muscles can I relax? What surface muscles can I relax here? Stay where you are, unless you've got a block on its highest level, in which case it needs to come down a little bit. Just remove it, turn it to either its mid or its low edge so you're supported. Good. And gently take just the left leg away for a moment. And as you're ready, the right foot can either stay where it is, or if it feels okay in your body, pull it back into the chest, give it a hug. See if you can let the left inner thigh soften or even slightly turn back towards the mat. So that you're nice and long through the other side. Hip flexors are a really interesting set of muscles where they often feel quite surface, but they have a lot of really deep connections right in next to the spine. And gently change legs. And so you might like to get interested as we work with the hip flexors here of what happens if we soften some of the outer noise and turn closer to the real inner world, the real depth. So give you a new relationship and a new awareness of the hip flexors. Please gently release the leg you're holding. Bend both legs up enough just so that you can lift gently off the block or bolster or whatever you've got. Remove it, but then lengthen your legs away, prop up on an elbow, and swap your equipment, bolster or block, to underneath the shoulder blades. I like mine high. That's because when I drop back, I'm able to prop the crown of my head on the mat and it's quite comfortable. If you're not able to do that, your head's hanging in space, go a little lower on the block, just so the head can rest. Please gently lift up enough to remove that equipment. Place it off to the side. And take any last movements you need. You may be happy resting here in child's pose. You may need a twist or a happy baby or a hug of the knees into the chest. Just kind of let your body guide you there. Haven't already, please lay your body down. Palms up. And allow your body to rest here. Return to this practice that we began with, breathing the back lower ribs down into the mat. Feel that inflation in the back body. Notice now what's not a surface muscle, what's not the intellect, what's something deeply internal, an organ, a joint, the lungs, how you feel. And let yourself take a little bit of rest there. Release gently, ever so gently. Roll to your right side. Take a few moments there. And just as gently, please roll up to seated. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. And just as we began, we close our practice with 3 Oms. Inhale. Let them radiate from deep within. Namaste.